Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to No More News. And we're having a Christmas special today. It is Christmas Eve 2024. I am Adam Green. Thank you all for joining me. Hope you're all having a wonderful holidays, Christmas, New Year's, Yuletide, Saturnalia, whatever your fancy, minus Hanukkah, of course, although Jesus supposedly celebrated Hanukkah. But we got a huge show for you guys today, some Christmas-themed stuff, some home videos, a bunch of clips and compilations and news. I haven't done a news stream for a while. I've been doing some spaces. I did a space yesterday where I was debating with some Jews. I did a space on Thursday where a 7-hour space. I uploaded the whole thing, streamed the whole thing, so a lot of you probably saw it. And it was debating did Jesus, and explaining that Jesus did not exist, debating if Jesus existed, with a bunch of Christians who brought no good arguments to the table. So let's start off with some of the home videos from the Christmas festival last night. Some wholesomeness for you guys. Some good, wholesome fun. Here we go. This is one of my daughter's second sleigh ride ever. The first one resulted in disaster. She slid off the sled, face planted in the snow. This one was a huge success. And there it is. Mission accomplished. We actually got a sled. I'm hoping to go up to the mountains and see some snow and do a lot more of this. Nice, cool, big sled that I can pull her on. Should be a lot of fun. Here's one more. She was crying right before this because I wasn't going to put her down the right aisle. So epic sleigh ride. She loved it. Start off with a little family wholesomeness. Yeah, we're going to play the 60 Minutes. I got to go watch the whole Mossad guy on 60 Minutes because I only saw the clip that was posted. I don't even know if the whole interview is live yet. But we are going to cover that and a whole lot more. Got tons of stuff to cover today. Here's one more. Let you guys know how much of a Viking sword wielder I am. They call this LARPing, but off with his head. Clear cut, off with his head. Executed. I had to mog a couple dads that tried to go up before me in front of their kids, and they weren't able to get hit it to the top. And I did it, and my daughter was so happy, so proud. So just imagine 1,000 years ago, swinging a big old sword, chopping my enemies' heads off right here. And done. And with the flannel, I look like I'm chopping wood too. It's funny. I heard like the people before me. They're like, "This hammer's so heavy." Yeah, like swinging Odin's hammer like this. So some of the guys are like, "Oh, this thing's so heavy," and I got it. I felt it. I'm like, "This feels like nothing. This is nothing." Just whack. One chop green. That's what they used to call me. One chop green. Let's see. Is Odyssey up? What's going on with Odyssey? Do I need to refresh or something? Okay, there we are. Now I see everybody on Odyssey. Whoa, Indomitably Based for 110 says, first, a joyful Yuletide and Goy Shiach Christmas to you and your fans. Adam, thank you so much. Volkish Spirit says, reminds me of me when my dad did the exact thing when I was a kid. I know, having your kids see you do something cool like that is it's a big deal to a little kid, for sure. John Garadas, what's up, John? We're going to start with one of your compilations here, and if we have enough time, play some of the other ones too. We probably will. $50 from John, who's been doing outstanding work. And I just remembered you want me to change some things on that thumbnail. I'll try to get to that probably tonight or tomorrow. It says 50 for your outstanding patience debating the Christians stuck in the Abrahamic matrix. You wiped the floor with them in that 7-hour debate. None of us would have done it better than you. Thank you. Have a great Christmas, Adam. Wishing you great health and even more happiness in your family life. Thank you. Best wishes to you as well, John, and your health and everybody's health. I really like the way this thumbnail turned out, by the way. Viking Santa in front of the church. That was basically Viking Thor Santa in front of the church. Face swap. Bing, bang, boom. And I'm old Saint Nick. The soulless AI voice. Okay, so I've talked about this many a times now, but I finally went and dug it up. This time last year, or about this time last year, remember I did my Euro trip to England, France, and Brussels. And at one of the huge cathedrals in, I think this was one in England. I want to say it could have been France. I could be mistaken. I went in so many cathedrals over there, I lost track and couldn't remember where this one was. But they were having a nativity exhibit where Christians from all over the world created these little diorama nativity scenes. So you have your Chinese Jesus, your Asian Jesus, your Mexican Jesus, because it's a Jewish king for all the Goyim celebration. He rules the world with joy and grace. The King of the Jews, the Davidic Messiah, ruling all over all the nations, all the Goyim. The universal aspect of Catholicism, of Christianity, Judaism for the Gentiles. So it's a bad recording. It's on my phone. It's a little jerky, but I figured I'd share this. You get the idea of it. Odin for 5 says one of the biggest hoaxes of biggest hoaxes is a heathen holiday celebrated as the Jewish Messiah's birthday. That's true. So here's Middle Eastern Jesus. My daughter saw a nativity and she says, "Look, they're getting married." I'm not telling her about Jesus. Hey, my little baby, yeah, you're evil and you're sinful. So this guy, the King of the Jews, had to die for you so you can go to heaven and not go to hell. It's like child abuse to tell a child that. Hey, your sins and you did bad things, you sin and you're evil, so you have to believe in this blood magic ritual that this ancient Jew died for you or you're going to go to hell. Absurd. Oh shoot, let me fix this. Get myself out of the way a little bit for you guys. That's better. Thank you, Odin. Yeah, and I covered with Gnostic Informant last week. We did a Christmas show about how about how Christmas is not rooted in Christianity. It's all pagan holidays that were co-opted by the Christians. Here's African nativity. Look, there's your little black Jesus, little African Jesus. in the little huts they got here, straw huts. Yeah, based. Hey, stop attacking white people, Adam. Christianity's the white man's religion. Yeah, it was started by Jews, but forget about that. Yeah, it got Christians to destroy all the ancient pagan temples and literature and architecture and statues and our ancestral mythology. Yeah, the Christians destroyed all of that in the name of the Jewish God, but stop being anti-white. And the whole nativity story, last Christmas, I did a whole stream about every aspect of the nativity story is fiction that they derived from the Old Testament. What's in Devin's intro? Ghost Note says Devin's intro. Why do you say that, Ghost Note? Peter, Intelligent Super Ignum. There's Clay Jesus. People act like Europeans wouldn't have built these things if they didn't have the Bible. If they didn't believe in King of the Jews, we could have never built stuff like this. As if the Bible has anything to do with architecture. Devin Santa intro. That's right. That's right. That's Jesus. That's funny. Here's Japanese Jesus. Japanese Jesus is a samurai. Reminds me of this. There's a show called Shogun, and like the major theme is that the Catholics are there trying to exploit them and conquer them with Jesus. And then the Protestant from England shows up, and then they're fighting. They're at war, the Protestants and the Catholics as well. Oh, Shogun Jesus eats sushi. He has sword. Here's probably a Russian Christmas. What is that? German Christmas? Most traditional. Here's Mexican. They literally got like tin huts. Tin hut Mexican Jesus. All the Goyim around the world worshiping the King of the Jews. Like Mizrachi says, how can I not be happy with millions of Goyim bowing down to one Jew tonight? Whoa, Jesus is a little big there.
One Swiss, how can I not be happy?
Okay, we'll do the whole thing.
When I
We'll do
see
this one.
me, one Swiss guy came to him and said, well, Rabbi, it's the birth of the Messiah that you don't believe in. So why are you so happy? He said, how can I not be happy that millions of goyim bow down to one Jew tonight? He said to him, tonight is my happiest night of the year.
The Jew said.
Berkovitz said to the goy, how can I not be happy when I see millions of goyim bow down to one Jew tonight?
So we'll just play that in the background as we watch this.
And say, well, Rabbi, it's the birth of the Messiah that you don't believe in. So why are you so happy? He said, how can I not be happy that millions of goyim bow down to one Jew tonight?
Nice beard, Jesus.
He said to him, tonight
It's really
my happiest night of the year.
Isn't it weird that they always portray Jesus with long hair when it says in the New Testament that like long hair is an abomination or something like that? Tales of the Levant for 10 says, happy Yule, Adam and friends, and fuck Yahweh and fuck Jesus. Finally able to catch a stream, not at work, and have time to tie to the Goy Shiach. I'm Rogue Theism on X, by the way. Rogue Theism. I hope I'm following you, Rogue Theism. I bet I am. I recognize that name. Tales of the Levant. Thank you. So happy you could be here. So happy you guys are going to all be here with me on Christmas Eve. I'm noticing a little less of an audience today, which is totally fine. I'm sure you guys are all with family and doing fun things. How can I not be happy with all the goyim around the world worshiping the God of Israel? The King of the Jews. All the animals showed up for the birth of the King of the Jews, and the angels and the magical star above. Albania. A lot of straw in the Albania one. There's Zerka. I saw Zerka right there. Lots of snow too. That's a nice one. First place. Like, bringing my daughter in these places, and she's like, look at this tortured man. He died for you because you're evil. Because you were born evil, he died for you. Big Mama says, you are family. You guys are my family too. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. I'm sure there's some people that couldn't be happier that I'm doing a stream this morning. And Big Mama is on Odyssey. I usually see Big Mama over on Rumble. Oh, there she is on Rumble. Or no, the Great Goy Shiach for 50 says, thanks for all you do. Thank you, Great Goy Shiach. Okay, and here's the spot. Somebody spotted it. Look. Here is Sideburns and Top Hat. Oh, shoot. 340. Where was it? This one. They look like Japanese, but this guy looks like he screenshotted them. Here, I'll just show you the screenshot here. He got a better choice of it. The Jewish hat and sideburns. He's supposed to be Asian, though, I think. I don't know what came off there. But here's Chabadniks in their black hats celebrating Christmas, apparently. And that's about it. That was like toddler Jesus. Came out of the womb a toddler. Thank you, Great Goy Shiach. Okay, so that's that. That's that. Get the point? Nothing that Jews hate more than all the goyim around the world believing in the Jewish prophecies, worshiping the Jewish Messiah, the God of Israel, and now waiting for a Messiah to come and waiting for their prophecies to be fulfilled in the end times. So that's that. Now let's go. I haven't watched this one yet. John just shared it with me this morning, just posted Rabbi Mix for Christmas. It's a Christmas miracle. Let's watch this one to the great John Garadas, his latest mix.
Do you believe that the Gentiles, the Goyim, will one day become the slaves of the Jews?
It's not a belief, it's part of the Torah.
אתה חושב שהגויים יהיו עבדים של היהודים יום אחד?
אמורים להיות.
אבל מה זאת אומרת, כאילו, אמורים להיות?
לפי מה שכתוב בתורה, הגויים אמורים להיות העבדים שלנו.
Gentiles are supposed to be our slaves.
האם אתה מאמין ש...
Odin says one of the biggest hoaxes is a heathen holiday celebrated as a Jewish Messiah's birthday. I know, totally. And then all the Christian apologists trying to cover this up, acting like it's all original to Christianity.
גויים יהיו עבדים של היהודים יום אחד.
כן, זה כתוב בתורה.
If you are a Noahide, meaning you don't believe in Jesus or any of that other garbage, you don't believe in any other false religions, false idols, any of that stuff, no idolatry, if you believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and you live by the 7 Noahide laws, guess what? You have a place in the world to come. That's as simple as that.
Worship their God and believe that they're God's chosen people and help serve them in their mission to be a light to the nations and heal the world. Tikkun olam. Tikkun oilam, as they like to say. Tikkun oilam in Torah in oilam. Learning the Yiddish dialect. And you'll have a share in the world to come. You won't be destroyed. You won't be cast in the fire with Amalek.
Okay?
Chariots of fire.
Keep these 7 laws. You should be killed in this world, and you will not have a share in the world to come.
Idol worshipping, death penalty for Jews and non-Jews. Breaking Shabbat, death penalty for Jews, no penalty for Goyim. They're not allowed to keep Shabbat. Stealing for a Jew has to pay double. Stealing for a Goy, death penalty. Jew eats an animal that is alive, moving in a plate, like the Chinese do. He gets a punishment from the Torah, but no death penalty. If a Goy eats a mouse that moves in a plate like the Chinese do, with the soy sauce.
Chinese eat a mouse on a plate with soy sauce? They eat live mice in China? Is Mizrachi just making shit up? Is that true?
Like this, is moving in a plate, death penalty for the Goyim, for something like that.
Oh, these are all the Shabbos goys running towards their Noahides. I get it. They're like, oh, give us more goy slop. Every knee will bow. The sheep.
Non-Jews obligated to keep the 7 Noahide laws.
Well, the nations of the world, every person in the world has to keep the 7 Noahide laws.
The Torah said,
Oh, this is the best one. Yo, Great Goy Shiach again for 50 says, thanks for all you do. And Flex, thank you, Great Goy Shiach. Thank you so much. It means the world to me that you appreciate and value my work. Wouldn't be able to do it without you.
Many other places. If a person keep mitzvah tzitzit, if you're wearing tzitzit every single day, you're going to have 2,800 slaves. Right? One is going to wash your shoes, one is going to brush your teeth, one is going to brush your hair, one is going to take you an Uber. I mean, we're going to have so many slaves that we don't have to do anything, just to learn Torah.
Torah.
The rest of the Goyim will be disappear from the world if they didn't do mitzvot, the 7.
So be their slave or you're going to disappear from the world. These people are insane. Insane.
Mitzvot of Noah.
When Mashiach comes, what will happen to those people who are neither Jewish nor Noahide?
Atheists, agnostics, Buddhism.
Idolaters.
Yeah, idolaters, right.
Atheist, agnostic, idolaters, i.e. pagans. Death penalty, death penalty. They're Amalek. And Christians go, there's nothing they hate more. We show you the videos. They laugh and love that you're worshiping the King of the Jews and believing in their prophecies. They hate you if you're Amalek, if you're an atheist and a pagan idolater. And the Christians are just burying their heads in the sands and denying what they actually say and think. And then their cope is, you believe the rabbis? You believe the rabbis. You believe the Bible. Christianity was started by rabbis. Jesus was called a rabbi. James, Peter, John, Jude, all Torah observant Jews. Adam finally improving his Yiddish. Just a couple words.
So, as we mentioned, what happens? A third of the people die straight away.
Comes, what will happen to those people who are neither Jewish nor Noahide?
Atheists, agnostics, Buddhism.
Idolaters.
Yeah, idolaters, right.
So, as we mentioned, what happens? A third of the people die straight away.
Poof.
Idolaters.
So now we're talking about Thanos and the whole thing where you just
right, exactly.
Serious? Are you serious? That's crazy.
Right there.
Wow.
That's it.
Now I'm wondering if the people who created that movie were Jewish or not.
Who created Thanos? What is that? What is the show with Thanos? Avengers? It was Jewish. They're like, we're literally like Thanos and we're going to conquer the universe and destroy everybody to save them. Hilarious. Marvel.
Hashem is speeding up the process of redemption. We know that the Lubavitcher.
Well, the rabbi was right. Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, the creators of Superman, were both Jewish, and they started Marvel. Bugsy Siegel's brother, no, I don't know, but Siegel's the same last name. And Shuster the Shyster created Superman and Marvel and Thanos, and the rabbi was right.
The Rebbe himself told us that we are in the last generation of exile, the first generation of Mashiach. This was said over 30 years ago. So imagine how much closer we are right now. When we take this into our hearts, we're going to get excited and we're going to realize that all of the events that are actually taking place in the world right now are a sign of Mashiach's coming.
Number two, it's permissible to cheat non-Jews by...
I love how in his background they always have the Rebbe on the wall and the liquor cabinet for when they get wasted on Purim.
All of the events that are actually taking place in the world right now are a sign of Mashiach's coming.
Number two, it's permissible to cheat non-Jews by withholding their wages. The Talmud states, as for one who withholds the wages of a hired laborer, for a Gentile to do so to another Gentile, and for a Gentile to do so to a Jew is prohibited, but for a Jew to do so to a Gentile is permitted. Number three, it's permissible to cheat non-Jews by not paying back loans from the non-Jews. This is also in the Talmud. Abrogating a loan owed to a Gentile is permitted because it doesn't actually entail taking money. Number four, it's permissible for courts to trick non-Jews in favor of Jews. Here, the Talmud mentions the rabbis disagreeing, right? There's a disagreement. You can read the passage on the slide, but basically Jewish judges should try to find some excuse to make sure the Jew wins the case over the non-Jew.
In the Torah, there's no such thing, freedom of speech. You don't let Nazis talk. You don't let infidels talk.
You don't let anybody that opposes us talk. There's no free speech in the Torah. And he's right. There's not free speech in the Torah. One Christian tried to argue with me. He goes, you wouldn't be allowed to criticize Jesus if it weren't for Jesus in the New Testament to give you freedom of speech. It's like, you guys used to burn people for blasphemy and heresy. Shut up. This is a great compilation, See Through It All, by the way. Not See Through It All. John Garage. Where is See Through It All? He's probably with family right now. And we got some super chats. Pete Rules 247 for 10 says, hey, Adam, thank you for a great year of content. Been seeing your work outside the religious sphere. Keep it up. Happy Yule. Thanks to you guys and whoever's clipping, everyone that's clipping and creating accounts and retweeting and sharing. It has been a great year. It has been a huge year getting the message out about the Jesus deception. And like I've been saying, we're only getting started, and we're already making huge waves. Andrew for 5 says, happy holidays to you and your family, and also to all of my fellow Goy in the chat. I love listening to people drowning when they debate you on X Spaces. It's fun. I take pleasure in it. It's too easy, too. It's always too easy. Instigator for 5 says, the Bible says that there will be a great falling away. What do you think they have planned for this supposed project? Also, I thought you did great in the last Christian debate. Don't I always pretty much do great in these debates with Christians? It's like taking candy from a baby or shooting fish in a barrel most of the time. Instigator, the falling away, they go, oh, it's our church is supposed to fall. It's supposed to be turned kosher. Everybody's supposed to stop believing. That's part of the plan. When we lose and when it fails, we're actually winning. When it becomes kosher in Vatican II and Schofield Bible, that's actually a good thing. That's actually a good thing. The Jews are supposed to take over and corrupt the churches because then Jesus will return. Instigator says prophecy. Supposed prophecy. Yeah, well, it's still the same thing. Thank you, Instigator.
In the Torah, there's no such thing.
Yeah, Greg Oishiak says a lot of the X Spaces, they only argue about feelings, right? One guy was like, oh, what's the best proof you have that Jesus existed? And he said, faith. Faith. You have to have faith he existed. Real convincing, bro.
Freedom of speech. You don't let Nazis talk. You don't let infidels talk. There's no such thing, freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is for Moshe Rabbeinu, for the Chachamim, for the rabbis.
Only the rabbis and Moses and the high priest, only they have free speech. They call you a Nazi, and then you're not allowed to speak, and you're Amalek, and you're destroyed. Great.
The wicked people, you don't let them speak.
What movie is this from? Have you guys seen it? What are they? British Army recruits? That's what a D-Day actually looked like. Great job. Round of applause. Good job, John Garadas. Oops, not that. Great job on that one. One of the best epic Noahide Law mixes I've ever seen. Chariots of Fire, never seen it. What's up, Conspiracy Truther? Says Merry Christmas. Epic music. I saw Volkish Spirit in the chat. We've got a couple from him going along with the holiday theme. You know, I'm so sick of these Christian Nazis that are lying about, they call us Jews, these Christian Nazis call us Jews because we say things about Christianity that the Nazis said. They're liars. They're lying, and they're trying to cover up and twist how they actually viewed. Some of the best biblical critics, biblical scholars in the world at the time were saying all the same stuff about Christianity that we're talking about here. It's foreign, it's fake, it's Jewish, it's subversive, and we got to get away from it. Volkish Spirit was explaining to me like that the divide in Germany at that time was basically one camp was that they needed to get rid of it right away as fast as possible and go more towards Germanic paganism. And another camp was to do it slower, to transition the Christians away with positive Christianity, and to be, there was also a divide if they should be more pagan or more scientific realist. Not the worst dividing dichotomy to have, if you ask me. So here's one from Volkish Spirit. Daily News, 1938. Whole lot of Christians online don't want you to know about this because they're trying to cover up. Germany has a pagan Christmas. Hitler will celebrate Christmas as a lay festival, and all organizations have been ordered to de-Christianize the ceremony. And all of these Nazi Christians online are constantly attacking us and calling us Jews and covering up what Germany actually thought. If Germany had won, it would be pagan right now. Yeah, they already were. The Nazi idea is to celebrate the occasion by a feast based on the pre-Christian days of the old pagan German tribes. There will be no carols, no hymns, no Jesus worship, and shops will not display Christian emblems. And then we got documentaries coming out. We've got a whole network of Christian-controlled ops lying and saying, oh, they were hardcore Christians, and just completely giving you a false history. So there's one. Germany has a pagan Christmas. And all the Christians online, they won't share this. They'll cover it up. Watch this. That probably had, let's see. I'm going to oops. There it is. Oh, 327 likes, actually. And this was 3 days ago. So it is getting around. It is getting around. Volkish Spirit had a big year, too. Volkish Spirits. So doing some of the best research in that era in regards to the Christian question. For sure. You still in the chat, Volkish? He created a thread of some of the best examples of the German view of Christianity. I'm going to do a stream on that probably shortly after Christmas, and all the other stuff I've created. I've been bookmarking. It's going to be a huge show just about anti-Christian Germany. Nazis ban Pope's Christmas radio message. Thursday, 1938. Nazis ban relay of the Pope's Christmas radio message. But all the Christ cucks keep telling me that they were all Catholic and they loved Catholicism. Volkish Spirit is here. He says he's here. Thanks for the coverage of these articles. Absolutely. What else would I be covering on Christmas but then these great finds? And it's funny how if it weren't for Volkish Spirit, this wouldn't be on the internet right now, as far as I know. And everybody would just believing what the lying Christians were saying, that they all were worshiping Jesus and the rabbis were celebrating. When the new Vatican shortwave station was inaugurated on Christmas Day, the Holy Father broadcast in Latin a short message which was translated into the world's languages. Relays were arranged in most European countries for the occasion, with the exception of Germany. It's like they're trying to cover up that this was like the biggest reason that Germany had to be destroyed. The biggest reason that Germany was Amalek was that they were abandoning their Jewish religion, Christianity. So all the European countries except Germany, where the message was banned by the Nazi government, tests were also carried out with North and South American stations. A concert of sacred music followed by the Pope's message. Some maestro, director of the Sistine Chapel Choir, conducted a selection of his own composition sung by members of the choir, all their little raped eunuch altar boys. Oh! They were like this. This is this is the Catholic message. This is what the Catholics were saying to the Germans for not playing their Christmas message. All the masculine Catholic men. This was all the Catholics that the Germans were not celebrating a Jesus Christmas right here. That's all the masculine men. All the Tradcat Crusaders are like, how dare you, Germany, not worshiping the King of the Jews and playing our Christmas message and returning to your pagan roots. That's so funny. Okay. So that's that. Thank you, Volkish Spirit, for that great additions to the Christmas show, to the Christmas special. And Volkish has been sending me stuff for years. I had no idea. I haven't researched any of this stuff. I'm not an expert in World War II. I'm not an expert in Germany. And it just so happens that my research into religion turns out that they were saying all this stuff back then. There's another article where it talks about how the Pope rejects the swastika as being against Christ. Well, obviously. It's satanic. It's just like the Christians that come on my comments, and they go, Adam has a 666 logo. Oh, he's telling everybody he worships Satan. It's a Volknut. It's the German pagan European ancient symbol. Or the Triskele, I think you say it, the three spinning things. They go, oh, that's so satanic. You guys are retarded. They're so dumb and retarded they can't even just Google what the symbols are and see that they're just ancient European symbols. And just like the ADL, these Christians want to say it's satanic. The ADL puts them on their hate lists. Yo, $50 from John Fitzgerald. Thank you so much, John.
Very nice.
Very nice, John. Says, thanks for the amazing year of education. Have you read Julian Jaynes' theory of bicameral mind? Never heard of it. I have not. Should I? Henrik interviewed one of the current day experts on the theory. May add to your knowledge of where religions originated. When did he do that? That must not be recent. Henrik's been around a long time and interviewed a lot of people. I'm guessing that's an old one because I follow them and I haven't seen. I would have heard about this guy if he was on recently. Happy Alban Arthur Yule in ancient Ireland to you and yours. Thank you, John Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald, a true Irish name. Yeah, everybody's giving Volkish Spirit props in the chat. Dude, like See Through It All, like John, like Liam, Volkish Spirit has been contributing to the show and always here too. He's been a good friend, like always watching, always in the chat for years. So happy Yule and a pagan Christmas to you, Volkish Spirit. All right, now to the big viral video that I still haven't even watched. And I hope, guys, have you seen this whole interview with the Riddler from the latest Joker movie, who is a Mossad agent? How many times have you guys heard me say that Christianity, Islam, Esau and Ishmael have assumed the roles created for them, and they're following the script, which is the blueprint and the strategy for the end times, trusting the plan. I go, the Jews are the authors, they're the script writers, they're the directors, they're producers. And then now the Mossad agent is on 60 Minutes making the exact same metaphors. Okay, Henrik interviewed him in 2010.
Of creating.
How did you
So here's a Mossad agent on 60 Minutes just trying to make Mossad look so cool and badass and hardcore. Listen to what he says and remember how I've always described it exactly like this with Christianity.
How did you convince Hezbollah to buy this?
Well, obviously, they didn't know that they were buying it from Israel.
Who did they buy it from, or think they were buying it from?
We have an incredible array of possibilities of creating foreign companies that have no way being traced back to Israel. Shell companies.
Oh, so they've got tons of front companies that are actually Mossad backed. But if we say, oh, we think that's a Mossad company, they go, that's an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory.
These over shell companies who affect the supply chain to our favor. We create a pretend world. We are a global production company. We write the screenplay. We're the directors. We're the producers. We're the main actors. The world is our stage.
How did you...
The world is their stage. The world's a stage in the theater of life, and they're the directors and the producers and the script writers, and Christianity and Islam are playing their roles in this theater. Yeah, sounds just... I thought the same thing, Troggy Trog. The masked Mossad sounds nearly the same as that Jewish woman in the clip of the Appalachian Church where the guy said they're just better than all of us. It's a script, and everyone, she says they're the main actors, and at least you get to be in the movie. Watch, I'll just search movie, and we'll find it, I bet. Okay, there it is.
In Judaism, there's a concept with regard to the faith of the nations. The goal of the people of Israel is to spread knowledge of God to all the peoples of the earth. The goal is not to make everyone Jewish. We're called a kingdom of priests.
Right.
And that means that there has to be a flock. If we're the priests, there's got to be a flock. And the flock is the world.
The flock is the goyim. The Goyim are the flock. And what do Christians believe? That they're sheep in the flock of their Jewish shepherd, fleecing them for their wool and feeding them goy slop until they are harvested and slaughtered.
Flock, and the flock is the world.
The idea in Judaism is that God, it's almost like a priestly caste. God chose this specific group of people to be a light unto the nations by demonstrating what a godly lifestyle looks like. God identifies a nation that he treasures as his own, and he has a special relationship with that nation.
According to Judaism, our goal for the world is that everyone have faith in the God of Israel. If they also have faith if they also believe about the God of Israel, that he incarnated himself in a human body, that may not be what God wants from his priestly class, but it may be perfectly fine for the nations of the world if that's their way in to believing in it.
To me, I think the Jews are the stars of the film, okay? The Jews are coming back to Israel. That's us, not them. They believe in the holiness of the process, but they can only be supporting actors. They have no other role. But if we allow them to be supporting actors, wow, at least they're in the movie.
So when we say we're looking forward to a redemption, you and I may have different visions of what that redemption may look like.
You should actually look at the truth and understand that the Jewish people...
Okay, that's enough. That's the clip Troggy Trog was talking about. I thought of the same thing when I heard it. They're the stars of the show. They're the script writers. They're the main characters. At least you get to be in the movie, goy. At least you get to play the role of Esau and Ishmael, Christians and Muslims. Playing their role, following the script, where it's predetermined and destined that they get destroyed. You know, Duvid was in that space the other day, and I was talking to him, and he said that the reason that the Jews, one of the biggest reasons that Jews and rabbis are so confident that Israel is going to be saved and their messianic prophecies are going to be fulfilled is because that their opposition is Christians and Muslims. Because the main opposition to Jews is Christians and Muslims, that gives the Jews all the confidence in the world that they're going to come out on top. This is so good. This is going to need to go in the compilation, guys. Save this. This could be used.
For shell companies who affect the supply chain to our favor. We create a pretend world.
Thanks, Kyle's mom. Yeah, Kyle's mom from South Park. At least you get to be in the movie. But remember,
stereotyping Jews is terrible.
We are a global production company. We write the screenplay. We're
the Bible. The prophecies. They're the authors. They're the originators. They're the ones with the secrets. They're the ones that have the upper hand. And how do you think things are going to turn out? Oh, well, the Jews have to take over and return to their land and have their mark of the beast and anoint their Messiah and then instigate wars. And then the Christians are going to win. And then the Muslims are going to win when Jesus comes down in the cloud and saves the day. Bullshit. Stop being retarded. Trust the plan, idiots. Mossad Special Agent Kanye Westberg. I know, he's a mix between Kanye and the Riddler.
The directors, we're the producers, we're the main actors. The world is our stage.
The world is their stage, dude. So, guys, I know a lot of guys in the chat watch all my shows and have for years. Have I not said that a million times about religion? They're the producers, the authors, the script writers, the directors, the main characters, and the Christians and Muslims are playing in their sandbox, LARPing along, they're codependents, they're enabling the whole prophecy deception. And there it is. Another coin, another shekel in the Adam Green was right jar. And it's just amazing that they'll bring on a Mossad agent dressed like this to boast and brag on 60 Minutes. And to scare everybody and intimidate everybody. Now, remember the article? I'll play this, actually. Another new Ben Shapiro clip. He laments the decline of Christianity will lead to humanism and paganism and death camps. That's why he wants you all the Goyim in church believing in the Jewish prophecies and reading the Hebrew Torah and believing that's a real history in the Word of God. Anti-pagan Ben Shapiro wants you to be Christian. Get it through your thick heads, Christians.
Thing as truth in evolutionary biology. There's just
I count myself a cultural Christian. I think it wouldn't matter if we substituted any alternative religion. That would be truly dreadful.
Okay, but we have substituted an alternative religion, and that religion is paganism, because the reality is that when you cut off a civilization from its Judeo-Christian roots, what you end up with is a paganistic replacement for that religion. Humanism devolves into paganism pretty quickly, because all of the central premises of humanism, things like reliance on human reason, make an argument for human reason as an independent force. You cannot, from an evolutionarily biological perspective. You can't.
Ben Shapiro is anti-reason. He's pro-Bible, pro-Noahide, anti-reason.
You can say that human beings are capable of using their brains in order to adapt to their environment. You cannot say that human beings are capable of searching for truth. There is no such thing as truth in evolutionary biology. There's just what's effective.
You don't have truth, Goyim. The only truth is what my Jewish ancestors wrote down in their books.
And what's not effective. Everything is utilitarian in nature. You can't make the case for higher concepts like justice or freedom if you are operating from a non-God-based universe.
You can't make arguments for justice and freedom without the Jews? Really? That's ridiculous. Such a ridiculous thing to say.
You might be able to live that way individually. You can be like Richard Dawkins and be an atheist and be a cultural Christian. But you cannot separate the church building that he is praising there off from what goes on inside the church. The church building is an outward manifestation of the soul that is the church. The same thing is true of our civilization. Our civilization is built in a particular way on particular frameworks and foundations. And when you destroy those foundations and frameworks, what you end up with is secularist pursuit of values that ends up undermining itself and eating itself. You end up with postmodernism. The reason that postmodernism is a natural outgrowth is because it is a natural decay. You go from a thriving civilization, an Enlightenment civilization that was in fact rooted in Judeo-Christian values. This is why, for example, when it comes to capitalism, Adam Smith wrote Theory of Moral Sentiments before he wrote Wealth of Nations. Theory of Moral Sentiments is an entire book about virtue and the necessity thereof. And then he wrote Wealth of Nations, which was predicated on the idea that when you have a civilization that does in fact promote virtue, capitalism can thrive. The same thing is true of things like free speech. These all exist on deeper foundations. Those deeper foundations are religious in nature. Trying to separate...
So Mizrachi says there's no freedom of speech in the Torah, only for the Jews, not for the quote-unquote Nazis. And Ben Shapiro gaslights and says the exact opposite. There'd be no free speech without the Jews, Goyim.
Pretending that they are the natural state of the world is historically ignorant. History is in fact contingent. The Enlightenment rests on Christian bases. Pretending that it does not.
Dude, oh my God. The Enlightenment was going back to paganism and reading the classics. Are you kidding me? The Enlightenment was in response to the Christian Dark Ages. God, these guys will... This is coming from Ben Shapiro, who says, oh, Western civilization was built on Judeo-Christianity. You'd have nothing without us. You'd have no morals without us, Goy.
Means that you end up severing the two. And an Enlightenment severed from its Christian bases ends in terror. It actually ends in gulags and death camps. The cost of living has already increased.
You better be Christian or else we're going to be in death camps again. You hear that, guys?
Ends in terror. It actually ends in gulags and death camps. The cost of living has already increased.
That's why he wants all the Christians believing in his Bible, in churches, worshiping the prophesied King of the Jews, the Messiah, son of David, the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Anti-pagan. Any escape from Judaism means we lose power. Yeah, he's right, but that's a good thing. Okay, does it not get any more obvious now that we're right and the Christians... this is why all they can do is lie about us and slander and cope. It's all they have. The truth is on our side.
Would say that's... Let's put it this way. If you're talking about like paganism...
I can't tell if people are speeding up these Ben Shapiro clips or if he just really gets hot and bothered when he talks about paganism and talks 2x speed naturally.
Let's put it this way. If you're talking about like paganism, Judaism would have a problem with paganism. So let's say...
I thought paganism was a Jewish psyop. That's what the Christians keep telling me. They say there's nothing they hate more than Jesus.
Let's put it this way. If you're talking about like paganism, Judaism would have a problem with paganism. So let's say that you believed that there were 100 gods and they all ruled over different aspects of humanity. Then Judaism would say that does not fulfill the seven.
And if you were in dialogue with somebody like this, would you feel obligated to try to help divest them of that error so that they could be saved?
Sure. I mean, cool. So then I would feel obligated to actually, in the same way that if somebody believed that adultery was morally acceptable, I would feel the obligation to say, well, no, adultery is not morally acceptable, and it's better for you to not believe that. I think that in the end, for America, that's what I'd love to see is a more Christian America in which more people choose God. That's going to...
Ben Shapiro hates paganism, says paganism leads to death camps and gulags, and he wants a more Christian America. Okay, Goy? Do you hear that? Do you hear that? This is not 4D chess. This is what they all say. Pull your heads out of your ass.
Going to require more leadership like yours. It's going to require more powerful Christian leadership. The amount of secularization of American society is truly disturbing. Fewer people than ever going to church. So one of the things that you've been talking about a lot is what you call the re-Judaization of Christian learning and Christian faith, the reconnection with the Old Testament, because after all, Jesus was a Jew, and not only was a Jew, was a practicing Jew. I, as a Jew, have not only no problem with people saying, for example, Christ is king. I think that that's a good thing for Christians to say. I want Christians.
Oh, God. See through it all, he's not here, but I think we need a compilation like 1 minute long of just the very best like soundbite sentences of Shapiro. And this is definitely in it.
Was a Jew, was a practicing Jew. I, as a Jew, have not only no problem with people saying, for example, Christ is king. I think that that's a good thing for Christians to say. I want Christians to do that because I think that for American society, more people need to declare who are Christian that Christ is king and go back to church. A lot of the areas where Christian scholars think that Christianity has departed dramatically from Judaism, I think are not really dramatic departures. They seem to be reflections of Judaism from a slightly different angle.
He got to the heart of the law. They were content with the practical application of the law. He was not content with that. So I would say that Jesus was the purest Jew that ever lived.
Jesus was a Jew living a Jewish lifestyle in Jewish Jerusalem. Right? This is something that you're starting to see people really connect with. So Dallas, one of the key issues in the show, obviously, is that Jesus is a Jew. So how do you deal with the Judaism of Jesus and the Jewishness of the people who surround him, the sort of Christian versus Jew dichotomy in the show? How do you do that?
This is probably the most Jewish show in the world. Jesus was Jewish. His followers were Jewish. It's an extraordinarily Jewish story. And we've heard from tens of thousands of Jewish people, many of whom, again, aren't believers, who've said they appreciate the attention to the Jewish faith. Many evangelical Christians have said that because of the show, they are now doing some of those practices. They're trying Shabbat. They're trying to go to synagogue. They're trying these morning prayers. They're asking questions about the things that you see in the show. So I think that's something that's been interesting about the show is the Jewish-Christian connection has actually increased.
Okay, and this is a See Through It All compilation. We'll give it another retweet for the hell of it. But as we keep finding more clips and Ben Shapiro does more shows, like the highlight reel just gets better and better. And the Christians, do they help us share these videos revealing what the Jews actually say? No, they bury them and ignore them and cover them up and then lie and say the opposite of what they say. Now we have the Jews should celebrate Christmas as a Torah victory over paganism. This is an article from 2016 in Jerusalem Post. He says the Jews should celebrate Christmas as the chosen by God with the mission of helping others who at the times of Rabbi Joshua, who became Jesus Christ in the minds of that time pagans, no, Jews started that, fulfilling their mission by converting the pagans to the Torah-guided Christians. Because it is forbidden for the Jews to convert to Judaism, those who are genetically are outside the Jewish tribe, the only way to make the non-Jews to follow the Torah was the creation of another Torah-guided religion. They see Christmas as a Torah victory over paganism, and they hijacked the pagan religions. Now, here's your average top Christian. This guy, Stuart Nechtel. I debated his son on Modern Day Debates. Wiped the floor with him. And then Modern Day Debates, you know what they did? They took my name out of the title. They changed the thumbnail to another guy and swept it under the rug. But here's the new top internet apologist. These guys, this father and son, they're invited on all these huge podcasts, invited into conservative politics. And let's hear what he has to say. Here's your average top Christian, your top e-celeb internet apologist.
Say the Jewish God.
I just want to know, I'm Jewish, and I was wondering, am I going to go to hell? Oh, guess what? I worship a Jew. No kidding. No.
Hilarious. He's like, yes, I do. Hilarious response from this Jew. You're kidding.
Well, I was wondering, am I going to go to hell? Oh, guess what? I worship a Jew. No kidding. No. I'm not kidding. I worship a Jew. So what's that mean? Shouldn't you be like bowing down to me or something? I mean,
No, you're not the Jew that I worship, so I'm not gonna bow down. Yeah.
Follower of Christ is someone who worships a Jew. Anti-Semitism in the name of Christianity is a farce. Now, were the Jews opposed to him? Of course they were. Did they disagree with him? Many did. But the entire first century church was Jewish, and the first century Christian church was predominantly Jewish. If you choose to live your life separate from God, separate from Christ,
or believe in a similar God to that, let's say the Jewish God, right?
well, if you really believe in the Jewish God, I think you'll accept Christ. He claimed to be the Jewish God, revealing himself as Messiah in human form.
I just want to know, I'm
So there's your average top Christian. And then instead of just dealing with, Volkish says he loves when Christians are honest like this. 99.9% of all Christians in the world don't dispute it, don't even think to dispute that Jesus is Jewish and Christianity was started by Jews and came from Judaism. It's only these vocal minority, fringe, delusional, coping Christians online that want to say Jesus isn't Jewish. And then they want to debate us. Like, go debate the billions of Christians that believe Jesus is Christian. Go convince them. Why should I debate this tiny little sliver that you won't even see on a pie chart of Christian perspectives? And it's funny, he says, shouldn't you be bowing down to him? Here's Isaiah 49:23. Isaiah 49 and 42 is where it talks about how the Jews are the light unto the nations. And then they interpret that as the Messiah, the light unto the nations. This is what the Lord God says. Behold, I will lift up my hand to the Goyim and raise my banner to the people. Just like they say in Isaiah 11, I think it is, that the Messiah will lift up his banner and they will put their hope in him. So the Goyim will be attracted to their Messiah. So God will lift up his hand to the Goyim and raise his banner to the peoples. They will bring your sons in their arms and carry their daughters on the shoulders. Kings will be your foster fathers and their queens your nursing mothers. They will bow down to you face down and lick the dust at your feet. Then you will know that I am the Lord. Those who hope in me will never be put to shame. Psalm 72, may all kings bow down to him and all nations serve him. Isaiah 60, the sons of your oppressors, so the Romans, will come and bow down to you. All who reviled you will face down at your feet and call you the city of the Lord, Zion, the Holy One. Isaiah 60, you will drink the milk of the Goyim and nurse at the breasts of royalty, and you will know that I am the Lord, am your Savior and your Redeemer, the Mighty One of Jacob. Psalms 2. The kings of the world will serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Isaiah 45. Every knee will bow. They will come over in chains and bow down to you. Isaiah 45 again. Every knee will bow down before me. Every tongue will swear allegiance. Micah 7, they will lick the dust like a snake, like reptiles slithering to the ground. They will come trembling from their strongholds in the presence of the Lord our God. They will tremble in fear of you. Zechariah 8, 10 men from the 70 nations of every tongue will tightly grasp the robe of a Jew, saying, let us go with you, for we have heard that God is with you. And then when you read Revelation 3:9, and for those who belong to the synagogue of Satan, who claim to be Jews, but who are liars, i.e. the Gentile Christians who say that they're the spiritual Jews with the circumcised hearts and that the Gentiles have the covenant now, I will make them come and bow down at your feet, and they will know that I love you. So God says that the Christians are the synagogue of Satan. They will come to bow down at the feet of the Jews, and they, the Christians, will know that God loves the Jews. And when you understand the greater context of the Goyim bowing down to the Jews and their God, then it makes it clear that Revelation 3:9, the synagogue of Satan, is talking about Christians. Replacement theology, supersessionism, Christians. So Here's one from See Through It All. Miss you, See Through It All. He's almost never misses a show, but I'm sure he's just doing Christmas stuff.
That there is an Israel of God, and everybody who trusts in Jesus is a part of the true Israel of God, and that everyone who trusts in Jesus is truly a Jew. So I'm Jewish. Shalom.
Anyone who trusts in Jesus is truly a Jew. Yo, Big Mama, my sugar mama over on Rumble says, Merry Christmas, Adam, to you and your precious family. Yes, I was over on Odyssey for a few. It just streams better when I'm driving. You're one of the best. Thank you so much, Big Mama. You're one of the best. And I hope you have a happy holidays, and we're going to have a big year next year. Yeah, Revelation 3:9 wasn't all it's cranked up to be. The Christians in recent times inverted that and blamed the Jews, and the joke's on them. And we'll see how it turns out.
I believe that there is an Israel of God, and everybody who trusts in Jesus is a part of the true Israel of God, and that everyone who trusts in Jesus is truly a Jew. So I'm Jewish. Shalom. He's Jewish. He's Jewish. True Jews, inwardly Jews. We've been grafted into the Israel of God. And so we don't believe in replacement theology of like the church replaced Israel. We believe there is a true Israel, and anybody who's in Christ is in it.
I believe that when God promised Abraham descendants as numerous as the stars, that I'm the fulfillment. I believe that I'm one of his descendants.
That's right.
Because of the Messiah.
And you, although a wild olive shoot, were grafted in among the others and now share in the nourishing root of the olive tree.
Imagine being a pathetic little Noahide cucked guy and be like, I want to be adopted into Abraham's blessings. I want to have the covenant in the birthright. I want to be the sheep following the Jewish Messiah. All my ancestors worship demons and fallen angels. You're so pathetic. They're so pathetic. David D says, no wonder these people are being played like a fiddle. I know, it's pathetic. And then you want to complain when the Jews call you goyim cattle, when you proudly call yourself sheep? It's just so pathetic. Liam says, Liam donating because you should too. Thank you, Liam. Liam's an all-star.
Branches. If you are, remember, it is not you who support the root, but the root that supports you. And then you will say, branches were broken off, so that might be grafted in. That's true. They were broken off because of their unbelief, but you stand fast through faith, so do not become proud, but fear. So the point is
it's the same root feeding us.
Right. The point is that Paul's saying, like, you were grafted into this, not replaced it. You were grafted into this.
Exactly.
What? Israel.
Oh, I want to be grafted into the Jews. I just want to graft them in real hard from the back. I just want to be adopted in the fellow heir in the Jewish covenant. We hate the Jews, though. Nobody hates them more than us.
You want to be Jews. But we're the true Israel. So you think Israel? You want to be Israel. You're cucked. You're pathetic.
True Israel of God. Yeah. He just argued that you're not.
How about we want to be the true Europeans? How about we want to be the true Europe? Why is all these Christians desperate with being the true Israel?
Israel if you reject Jesus as Messiah. So he has this portrait in his mind of like there's this true olive tree, this true Israel, and you Gentiles, you were grafted into this thing, right? You were grafted in wild, but now you're in this thing. And so don't be arrogant to the ones that were cut off, these physical Jews who reject Jesus, their transgression, he cuts them off. Like you're part of this real tree now. You're in it. God did that for you. Don't be arrogant about it, but God has this tree of the people of God and you were put into it, right? Yeah, those people over there, physical Jews cut off, yeah, their sin, it means life for the world, but don't be arrogant. You were grafted in.
Yeah, hey, don't be arrogant, Christians. You wouldn't be saved if it weren't for the Jews. You wouldn't be able to be grafted in as the wild branches if the branches weren't cut off. The salvation would not come to the Gentiles if the Jews didn't sin and have that transgression. So they are following God's plans and God's prophecies so you could be saved. Imagine that being your problem with the Jews. That's the conspiracies. They rejected the Messiah that was meant to conquer us and enslave us and we're meant to bow down to.
Into this thing. But what's this thing? It's the true people of God. So people say like, oh, you don't think they're the chosen people of God, so you believe like, replacement theology, the church replaces Israel? Where, what?
I can't stand that language.
What'd you forget that
I can't stand it because it doesn't have anything to do with replacing Israel. It has to do with there's
apologia
throughout history, and the church is merely the continuation of that in the international.
And has anybody ever seen these guys before? There's thousands of podcasts and pastors and organizations that all believe and talk exactly like these guys. They completely overshadow any bit of so-called anti-Zionist Christians on Twitter and on BitChute and Rumble. Completely. It's not even close, not even the slightest bit close. This is real Christianity. And they go, Adam, stop attacking Christianity. Like, we're based race-first nationalist. We're anti-Semitic and race first. Stop attacking it. You're not even real Christians. No church in the world shares your views. You call them not the real? Imagine like the 0.0001% of Christians calling the 99.999% not real Christians.
Nationalizing of God's promises to bring about his kingdom to the ends of the earth.
Yes.
Like we're talking about a gospel explosion here that I think the Apostle Paul goes on to say will lead to the
Who can cuck the harder contest? That's pretty much what it is.
conversion of the ethnic Jewish people, which in turn will lead to the subduing of even more Gentile nations too.
That's right.
I think that there's a pattern there of world conquest, and so it's not about
Yeah, subduing the Goyim, world conquest. Wait, stop being an anti-Semite, Goy.
that I think the Apostle Paul goes on to say will lead to the mass conversion of the ethnic Jewish people, which in turn will lead to the subduing of even more Gentile nations too.
That's right.
I think that they're
subduing. They're celebrating the subduing of the Goyim and conquering the world with the Jewish religion.
There's a pattern there of world conquest, and so it's not about replacing. It's about all of us being engrafted into the same vine. Key language there.
Yeah.
Garden, vine, tree, and we're all being fed by the same root, and that root is Jesus Christ. Philippians 3.
That root is the Torah.
Circumcision. Who worship by the Spirit of God and glory in Christ Jesus and put no confidence in the flesh.
So who is? Gentile Christians?
Yes. And Jewish believers.
Yeah.
Anyone who the Messiah is Lord for, right? Anyone who has bowed the knee to Jesus.
Right.
You're the circumcision.
Yes.
Welcome to the family.
True Jews, true Israel.
Yes.
Yeah, true covenant people of God.
True Jews, we're the true Jews, we're the true Israel, we have our circumcised hearts. Average Christian right there. Here's Netanyahu's annual Christmas address to his greatest Shabbos goys and enablers and supporters, the Christians of America and around the world.
Israel leads the world, my dear Christian friends. As you gather with your family and friends this Christmas, I wish the Christian community in Israel and around the world blessings for a Merry Christmas from the Holy Land. At a time when Israel is fighting on 7 fronts, we deeply appreciate the steadfast support of our Christian friends around the world. You've stood by our side. You've stood by our side resiliently, consistently, forcefully, as Israel defends our civilization against barbarism. The people of Israel are united in defending our nation against those bent on our destruction. We seek peace with all those who wish peace with us, but we will do whatever is necessary to defend the one and only Jewish state, the repository and the source of our common heritage. Israel leads the world in fighting the forces of evil and tyranny, but our battle is not yet over. With your support and with God's help, I assure you, we shall prevail. From Jerusalem, city of peace, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Oh, Netanyahu thanking his Christian supporters, wishing them a Merry Christmas. Oh, but there's nothing they hate more, right, Goy? Nothing they hate more. Yo, $50 from Bowhunter88.
Yes! That's awesome!
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Thank you!
All right.
Thank you, Bowhunter. Says, Happy Yule, Adam and family. We were burning the fireplace today. My daughter loves the fireplace. She always wants to turn it on. Happy Yule, Adam and family. Do these wannabe Jews get interest-free loans as the Jews do? No, they don't, actually. There's a clip of them specifically saying that the Goyim, the Noahides, they have to pay interest, the Jews don't. Or are they the usury hamster wheel like all the other Goyim? Nope. No interest for the fellow Israelite, as the Torah says. Watch. No interest for other Jews. Torah verse. Let's see if it comes up. I should have searched. Oh, there's a few. Exodus 22, 24 to 26. Is that it? I don't think that's it. I'll look it up while we're playing the next clip. It's probably a job for ChatGPT, not Google. All right.
My dear.
And let's see what we got next. Okay, the jig is up, guys. We're an hour in. I wanted to start a show. I'll have to do another show where I play this at the beginning, but such a great find from See Through It All. The jig is up. All right? Rabbi Jonathan Cahn admits Christianity was a quote-unquote spiritual weapon against Rome. Bragging about exactly what I always say it is. Theological warfare, spiritual weapon. Quote, Rome conquered Jerusalem with weapons, earthly weapons, But now Jerusalem's going to conquer Rome with spiritual weapons, i.e. Christianity.
There's only one. Peter goes to Caesarea, the seat of Roman power by the sea. And there he brings in the first Gentile to be baptized in the faith, who happens to be a Roman centurion. So now, though Rome...
And the reason in Christianity, in the New Testament, the first convert to Christianity was a Roman was because they were targeting Romans. They weren't targeting Jews with Christianity as we know it today. It was created for the Goy. The Jews were meant to reject it, and it was for the Goy.
He brings in the first Gentile to be baptized in the faith, who happens to be a Roman centurion. So now, though Rome destroyed Jerusalem, now Jerusalem is going to transform Rome. The kingdom of God touching the kingdom of man. Isaiah's prophecy, the word shall go forth from Zion. There's only one faith on the earth that started in Jerusalem and touched the world, and that is the gospel. That is the new covenant. Even Moses, the faith of, I mean, it's all one faith, but even the covenant didn't start in Jerusalem, it started in Sinai. Only in Messiah will the word of Israel go forth to the world. I remember, I've spoken to Orthodox Jews and tell them when they say, I said, if Jesus or Yeshua is not the Messiah, then why is it, how could it be that the God of Israel has spread his word, has spread the Bible, has spread the Psalms and the prophets and the Torah to all the earth in the name of him? If he's a false Messiah, there's no way the God of Israel is going to allow that to happen. A new power goes forth into the world. And the empire of Rome tries to stop it, tries to fight this spiritual power that came from Jerusalem. And so they start persecuting. It's like Rome conquered Jerusalem with weapons, earthly weapons, but now Jerusalem's going to conquer Rome with spiritual weapons.
You hear that? They couldn't defeat Rome on the battlefield, so they engaged in spiritual, theological, mythological warfare and created Christianity. So a great meme created to describe this. Ancient weapons are truly fascinating. You have the samurai sword of Japan. You've got the giant pointy hammer of Italy. You've got the Viking swords of Europe, and you have the cross of the Jews. Ancient weapons. Rabbi Jonathan Cahn shapes up his beard by trimming his forehead. It's so funny because he trims his beard up way too high up here, and it looks so funky. The beard line needs to be way lower. But yeah, theological TKO. E. Michael Jones even writes in his book that a top Jewish scholar, Greats, writes that Christianity was like a victory over Rome with theological warfare. And yes, that's why they destroyed the Roman statues and they turned the pagan temples into Christian temples, because it was all about the God of Israel conquering Rome. The whole point of the Messiah in Numbers 24:17 to 19 is about conquering Rome, or they interpret it to conquer Rome. So this is since it's Christmas, the Star of Bethlehem never happened. It's based on Numbers 24:17. A star shall come out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel. It shall crush the forehead of Moab, break all the sons of Sheth. Edom shall be dispossessed. Seir, that's the mountain where Edom lives, his enemies shall be dispossessed, in Israel doing valiantly, or shall prosper. Jesus, the star and the scepter. You can find scepter other metaphors for the Messiah as well. And what is it about? Conquering Rome. The whole purpose of the Messiah? To redeem the Jews and conquer Rome. What did Christianity do? Conquered Rome for the God of Israel. Psalms 110. Make the enemies the footstool. The Messiah will rule in the land of thine enemies. Where does Jesus rule? In Rome, the enemies and the occupiers of the ancient Jews. Many Germans spoke about this. Forbidden One has a German quote. NSDAP member wrote in 1937, when the walls of Jerusalem were destroyed, when the temples of Jehovah lay in ruins and the flying eagles of the Roman legions shone above everything, the Jews left Jerusalem and scattered throughout Rome. But they remained Jews, and circumcision held them together. And on soft, creeping souls, a Christianity conceived by Jews, spread by Jews, made its way into the eternal city of Rome. In the catacombs of Rome, Jehovah's vengeance devoured until Jupiter's pillars fell and were built into little windows. The vengeance of the Jews devoured Rome and devoured the conquerors of Rome, the Goths and the Germanic tribes. Good job. Good quote, Forbidden One. He's another one like Volca Spirit that's doing great work finding all these old sources. Yes, See Through It All clip shows here. The Torah is their weapon.
The God of Israel, like you say, we do believe that the world has to naturally come to a place of, well, what Mashiach is basically, which is acknowledging who the Jewish people are, acknowledging the God of Israel.
Like you say, to bring Mashiach. We don't know how everybody will react, but here's the truth. The truth is that 4,000 years later, we're still here, despite the attempts of many tyrants. And the reason that we're still here is because there's something about Judaism, there's something about Torah, there's something about mitzvahs that is an eternal weapon and allowed us to outlive every single enemy, every empire.
Eternal weapon. The Torah in Judaism and Christianity is their eternal weapon against the empires that they lived under, like the Greeks and the Romans.
Tyrant, dictator, tried to eliminate us. They're all gone. We're here. What's the secret of our immortality? What did we have?
The Torah.
From the day of Moses till today, that none of our enemies had, and it was always there with us in Israel, in the diaspora, in good times, in bad times, in crazy times, in beautiful times. What is it? And the answer is one thing. We had the Torah, and we had the mitzvahs. That is one weapon that has accompanied the Jews from the day we became a people until this very day.
Weapon. Theological warfare. Weaponized religion. Psychological manipulation. Infiltration and subversion from within. The Jews didn't have the army that could defeat Rome, so they had to create, they were expecting a Messiah, son of David, to come and be a military conqueror and a political victorious. Instead, one sect of Jews invented a suffering and dying mythical Messiah. And that's what ultimately conquered Rome and the Western world. And now look at where it's got America today.
It has never left us. We always clung to it. And the proof is in the pudding. Because of it, we outlived every single enemy, and we are alive as creatives. I told the students.
And they consider themselves in the exile of Edom amongst Europe and America. They consider Edom the ultimate fourth exile that's going to have the worst vengeance upon them. And they'll be saying the same thing. Oh, we outlived Edom and Western civilization because of the Torah, because of religion, their religious weapon. Another weapon they have, where was that comment? It was from not Big Mama. Okay, Bowhunter88 talked about usury, and that's Deuteronomy 23:19-20. Do not charge a fellow Israelite interest, whether on money or food or anything else that may earn interest. But you may charge a foreigner interest, but not a fellow Israelite, so that the Lord your God may bless you in everything you put your hand to in the land you are entering to possess. So it's not a Talmudic thing. It is a Torah Deuteronomy commandment. And the Christians can't condemn the Torah now, can they? Because it's the word of God that prophesied their Messiah. They're the fulfillment of the Torah.
Beyond anything, hold on tighter than ever to that eternal Jewish weapon. When Jews seize the opportunity to become the humans and the people we are supposed to be.
The Jewish weapon. The Torah is their Jewish weapon. Another new clip from See Through It All found this video explaining Christianity perfectly. Jesus Christ, who was a Jew.
So they believed in the coming of the Messiah. They were enamored of Christianity began with Jesus Christ, who was a Jew. Come again. Okay, so why are Christians, well, Christians, and not Jews? That has a lot to do with how the two religions developed over time. The early Christians were Jews just like their leader, so they believed in the coming of the Messiah. They were enamored of the idea of resurrection and hailed Christ to be the promised one. This newly emerged Jewish sect put off other Jews, but Gentiles or non-Jews could care less. Since the Romans used to believe in multiple gods, one more was not an issue. A lot of initial Roman converts believed in other gods alongside the Lord. In 50 CE, the Council of Jerusalem was held, which relaxed the rules for converting Gentiles. Judaism, for the most part, was a closed group. Meanwhile, Christianity, despite having a lot of similar themes and beliefs, provided a much lower barrier to entry. Apostle Paul played a major role in this marketing plan since he believed that they should preach to Gentiles just as much as other Jews. Christian and New Testament scholar Larry Hurtado explains, Paul saw Jesus' resurrection as ushering in the eschatological time foretold by biblical prophets in which the pagan Gentile nations would turn from their idols and embrace the one true God of Israel. Paul's argument came from the Old Testament, Zechariah 8:20-23. Men from nations of every language shall take hold of a Jew, grasping his garment and saying, Let us go with you, for we have heard that God is with you. After Julius Caesar's death, he was deified as people kept saying that he was among the gods. Thus began the imperial cult of Rome, which expected sacrifices from its citizens. Since Christians refrained from these sacrifices, they were undermining the state's directives and authority. Judaism did not undergo these penalties, since it was a recognized religion, and hence had state protection. The plan to harass Christians, however, backfired because, do you know what persecution does? It garners sympathy. Oh, and here's another interesting thing to note. Christianity, like Judaism, is an apocalyptic faith with plenty of end times promises. In other words, there is salvation at the end, light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing. And while Rome was quite a powerful empire, it had not eradicated poverty. Most of the Roman lower class, including the long line of slaves, sympathized with Christianity's message of equality. Since all were equal in the sight of God, emphasized by the inclusion of Gentiles, it provided a social appeal for the downtrodden and the lower working class. Christianity also had several tales about healing miracles, which struck a chord with them. Most importantly, with salvation awaiting them in the end, they could suffer through their harsh working conditions with the hope of a better reward. Over the next few decades, the imperial government promoted Christianity, and by the end of the 4th century, explicitly banned the worship of older gods. It did not take long for the entire empire to become monotheistic. The Edict of Thessalonica.
As soon as Constantine adopted Christianity and Theodosius after him made it the state religion, within a few decades, paganism was outlawed with the death penalty.
In 380, made Christianity the official religion of the empire. The small Jewish cult had finally taken over the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire fell in the late 5th century.
So as soon as it took a few hundred years for Christianity to take over the Roman Empire, and paganism was outlawed, and then Rome fell. Ruled the world for 1,000 years under Roman paganism. Not quite 1,000 years. All right. Whoa, we're not even getting far. Okay, we got a few more. But I just saw this. I just came across this. Salty Cracker, he's a big influencer. He's got 200,000 followers. He says he's an Old Testament guy, and he likes his God fucking heathens up. Heathens are goyim, you retard. You like the Jewish God, the God fucking up heathens. Merry Christmas. These Stonewall Jackson, are you in the chat, Stonewall? He says, so this is them opening up the Cathedral of Notre Dame. Paris Archbishop, I saw this, by the way, when I was in Paris. I saw them working on it. It's so big. It's so amazing. He wields his Legend of Zelda staff, knocks 3 times at the door of the cathedral before entering in. They call us LARPers. Look at this guy's hat and robe and their weird rituals. Look at this shit. They dress up like Jewish wizards and do shit like this, but somehow we're the LARPing pagans because we don't want to worship a Jew. Thou shalt not pass, Gandalf. Cool scepter, bro. And here's them anointing their, consecrating the altar with their oil. Super serious. Looks like Richard Dawkins. Oil straight from Judea and Samaria, from the Jews, as Yeshua intended. Very moisturizing. This is how they lather up the young boys before their ceremonial rape session. Imagine thinking this does anything, and it's because this is an Old Testament thing. Consecrating their altar. This is how Jack Stone says, this is how we defeat the Jews, guys. Trust me, bro. Yeah. Oil from Walmart. Diddy baby oil. Floyd Groper says, I'm going to hell. Oh, I'm making jokes about their fucking oil and I'm going to hell. Okay, sure. I'm really scared. Flaming Groper. Never mind those Ethiopian Jews hanging in there. Hallelujah. What's he going to sacrifice on it? Oh, but it's like he's the hibachi at, what's that restaurant called? Not P.F. Chang's, Benihana's. It's like, all right, bro, when's he doing the onion volcano? Yo, can we throw some bacon on there? Now that we got it greased up? Who's got the steaks? I'll have 3 eggs sunny side up. Jewish LARPing. Hash browns. Let's see some of the other jokes. Be so beautiful. Keep promoting the one true church. And that does nothing. He put flesh of dead saints in it? What? All right, let's see. I think I might save this. I told my wife I'd only do an hour and a half. I think this is a good time to stop because I'm moving into a completely different topic. Let's see. Yeah, all of this could be for another show. Maybe this one. Jonathan Bowden on Christianity and paganism. That's kind of what the theme of the show today, so we'll play that one. And then we'll cover all the rest of this stuff either the day after Christmas or the day after that. Oh, I'm going to be doing a debunk of Dr. Amon Hillman's ridiculous theory about Jesus in the garden doing pedophile rituals with a young boy. It's nonsense. We'll cover that on a show coming up. I know there's some people who watch my show who have been duped by that distracting nonsense theory. All right, where is it? Where's that clip of Bowden talking about paganism? I haven't seen. Do you guys know this guy, Jonathan Bowden? I've never heard of him. Let's hear what he has to say about Christianity and paganism, since that's the theme of this show today, and then we'll wrap it up here.
Influenced our culture for 2,000 years, Christianity has provided the ethical and aesthetic superstructures through which most Western people think. Reality is pagan, man is pagan, nature is pagan. Pagans have reacted against Christianity, which is deep down a quote-unquote left-wing religion of humanism, love and tolerance, in an aggressive...
Hear that? Christianity is a liberal left-wing religion.
Leftist and alternative way. Contemporary pagans believe that Christians are conservative, that they're staffy, that they stand for Daily Mail and family-concentric values. They will rebel against that in every respect.
Yeah, they claim it's pro-family. There's actually many more anti-family verses. Volkus asked, am I going to do a New Year's stream, possibly? Probably. I'd rather do it like the day after. My birthday's coming up soon. I'd rather do it the day after. A big birthday, by the way. Real big one. All grown up now. I'll probably do it the day before or like on the 2nd or 3rd. So I probably won't do a New Year's stream.
Think of pagans as woolly, alternative, leftists who want to tear things down. In actual fact, paganism is pre-Christian, is barbaric, is natural law oriented, is morality, is morally fascistic. However, pagans would scream and scream at the idea of that and would run from the room. And Christianity is a religion of tolerance, love and peace. So they're the wrong way around. they're completely the wrong way around, and in their full symmetry or asymmetry, they indicate everything that's happened. That and it's a sort of it's the part of the generalised tragedy. A lot of Christian people are quite, those that remain a bit residually patriotic and so on, are quite right wing. A lot of pagans are beyond the Guardian, and the two are the wrong way around. The reason why Christianity has had such unbelievable influence in our culture, to the degree that I'm not anti-Christian in the sense of culturally disavowing it, because you cut off 70% of the way in which the West achieves what it is. It can't be done and shouldn't be attempted, in my view. The change is ethical. Everyone's a pagan, really. If somebody pushes you, you push them back.
Yeah, if they push you, you push them back. You don't turn the other cheek. Okay, so this guy died in 2012. No wonder I haven't heard of him. Anyway, that is all we have for today. We got a whole bunch of stuff to cover on the next stream. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas or Yule or whatever you're celebrating or not celebrating. I hope you have a good time, whatever you do. It's been a great year. I'll be back before the year's over for another stream or two. Maybe a panel stream with some guests even. That will be fun. A 2024 wrap-up, something like that. It has been a great year. I love you all. Thank you all for the support. And next year, Trump's getting in for another term. Shit's going down. We're exposing the Jesus deception. My book's going to be coming out early next year. Going to be a huge year. You guys aren't going to want to miss it. I know you'll be here. I'll be here. Can't wait to see what you guys have to say in the comments. Let me make sure I didn't miss any last-minute super chats here. Thank you, Big Mama. Huge shout out to Big Mama, Indomitably Based, John Garadas, John Fitzgerald, Bow Hunter, Tales of the Levant, Liam T. Jarrett, See Through It All, Volkish Spirit, Odin. You guys are amazing. I love you all, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Have a nice Christmas. No, we'll go out with the Christmas one. Sorry if I ear raped you, blasted your ears. Happy Sol Invictus and Yule and Jesus free Christmas.